Offset and Rock, Rashawn. Right? I wake up to it. I guess it's on Twitter somewhere. My phone's going crazy. It's Offset. He's telling me, only thing I'm hearing is Blueface. I called Blueface. Hey man, what is going on? And he said, I welcome Offset to the circus. I said, well, what is that? And that's when he told me, he put up some text messages showing that French Montana had his party out there. I guess they hooked up, right? I'm telling Blueface, nah, that ain't bro code. He said, I don't give a he want to be part of the circus, he part of the circus. Offset's calling me because in his head, I can stop it. But I can't stop nothing I don't know about, right? So I'm all ready to fight with Blueface to like try to at least control this fire, right? Offset's thinking, there's no way he gonna do that without you. Bro, I don't know nothing about none of this, right? And that's when he kept on accusing me. I'm like, I can really get out the way and let him go.
He was just 20 years old when they pushed the contract toward him and told him to sign. The offer looked unreal. $2 million up front. That kind of money can change your life overnight. It can take your family out of a rough neighborhood, put diamonds on your neck, and make you feel like you finally made it. When you're that young and that hungry, you're not thinking about long-term consequences. You're thinking about survival, success, and proving everyone wrong. So he signed. What many young artists don't realize is that an advance isn't a gift. Feels like a reward, but it's really a loan. The label gives you money before you earn it, and then they expect to get it back. Not just the advance, but every expense tied to your career. Studio time, music videos, producers, marketing campaigns, travel costs. Almost everything gets added to your tab. Until that balance is paid off, you don't truly see profit. You're working to clear a debt. That's where Offset's real story begins. Not with sold-out shows or hit songs. Not with fame or flashy jewelry. It starts in a meeting room, with paperwork he didn't fully understand. Years later, he admitted something that many artists are too proud to say. He didn't completely grasp what he was agreeing to. He trusted the lawyers. He trusted the excitement in the room. Most of all, he trusted the dream. At 20, when someone slides a contract across the table promising millions, you don't question every line. You don't imagine how complicated the fine print can be. You believe this is your way out. Here's how it works in simple terms. Let's say a label gives you $2 million. You think you just hit the jackpot. You spend some of it, invest some of it, maybe help your family. Then your album drops and brings in $20 million. From the outside, it looks like you just made a fortune. But the label collects the money first. They subtract the advance, subtract all expenses, and only after everything is recouped do you start earning your share. And even then, your percentage might be much smaller than you expected. Offset later spoke about how he signed early deals without truly understanding the math. He realized that the industry doesn't give free money. It fronts you money and then collects with interest built into the structure of the deal. This is where conversations about people like Wack100 started popping up. In the music business, it's not unusual for managers and labels to take percentages. But critics have pointed out situations where someone might serve as both manager and label at the same time. On paper, that sounds efficient. In reality, it can create a conflict of interest. A manager is supposed to negotiate the best deal for the artist. A label is trying to protect its own profits. If one person plays both roles, who is really protecting the artist? There have been claims in the industry that some deals allow a person to take around 50% as a label and another 20% as management. That's roughly 70% before other expenses are deducted. Is that legal? If it's written into the contract, yes. Is it fair? That depends on who you ask. When stories like this circulate, fans start connecting dots. Offset had already spoken publicly about feeling stuck in early agreements. So whenever talk of questionable splits or power imbalances comes up, his name gets pulled into the conversation. But his tension with Wack100 wasn't only about contracts. It became personal. At the center of it all was Cardi B. Wack had known Cardi long before she became a global star. Their relationship went back years. So when Offset and Cardi's marriage began playing out publicly, with breakups, rumors, and online drama, things became complicated. At one point, Blueface allegedly posted content suggesting Offset had private dealings with Chrisean Rock. The internet reacted instantly. Screenshots spread. Messages trended. Offset was furious. From his point of view, Blueface was Wack's artist. If Blueface posted something explosive, Wack must have known. That's how responsibility works in the industry. But Wack denied planning anything. He said he didn't know about the post until after it was already public. Then Cardi reportedly stepped in and asked for calm. No more back and forth. No more escalation. According to Wack, he respected her request and chose not to push things further. At that moment, the situation shifted. It wasn't about percentages or contracts anymore. It was about loyalty and trust. Just when things seemed to cool off, an old story resurfaced involving a dice game in Atlanta. Wack claimed that in 2019 at a studio session, Offset and 42 Dugg were gambling. According to Wack's version, tensions rose when someone tried to leave mid-game. He described a confrontation that allegedly turned physical. However, 42 Dugg denied being robbed and said he walked away with everything he came with. At one point, Wack shared messages that he claimed showed Offset privately agreeing with his version of events. That only added more fuel to the fire. The truth? It's hard to prove. Stories change depending on who tells them. But once the dice game discussion went public, it reopened old wounds. In hip-hop, reputation matters deeply. Sometimes it matters even more than money. While these personal conflicts were unfolding, something bigger was happening behind the scenes. The breakup of Migos. For years, fans speculated about drama, ego clashes, side projects, jealousy. But when Offset spoke about it, he suggested the issue wasn't flashy or dramatic. It was business, money, ownership, and control. When artists start understanding their contracts years later, they often realize how much power they gave away early on. Offset's journey seems less about a single argument and more about a long fight to regain control. The real question isn't just whether he signed a bad deal. It's whether he's been trying ever since to rewrite the terms of his own story. Because once you sign that first contract, the money may hit your account quickly. But ownership, leverage, and freedom? Those take much longer to earn back. Offset has said more than once that the real problem wasn't personal, it was business. As he grew older, became a father, and took on more responsibility, he started looking closer at the numbers. He paid attention to percentages, ownership rights, and how the money was divided. The more he studied it, the more uncomfortable he felt. It wasn't about wanting to take something from Quavo or Takeoff. It was about questioning the system around them, the labels, management teams, and all the hidden deals fans never hear about. When you're young, you celebrate the checks. When you mature, you examine the paperwork behind those checks. In a group like Migos, the financial setup can get complicated very quickly. There are 3 members. Then you add publishing splits, touring income, brand partnerships, and outside contracts. Suddenly, the math becomes messy. Even if millions are coming in, the final amount each person actually keeps might look very different from what headlines suggest. Offset hinted that outside voices in the industry sometimes made things worse. Small disagreements would turn into major stories online. Rumors would spread. Pride would get involved. And when money pressure mixes with ego, cracks can form, even between people who are family. Then tragedy changed everything. When Takeoff passed away, the focus shifted overnight. Arguments about contracts and percentages didn't seem as important anymore. It became about loss, about grief, about family. Offset later admitted he struggled with guilt. He questioned his own choices. What if he hadn't gone solo? What if the group had stayed closer? What if things had been different that night? He wasn't blaming anyone. He was just being honest about the what-ifs that followed tragedy. That experience changed how he spoke about business. He sounded calmer, more thoughtful. Instead of chasing big advances like he did in his early 20s, he began chasing control. He started asking deeper questions. Who owns the masters? Who controls the publishing? Who benefits when songs stream millions of times? That shift also explains why his tension with Wack100 felt layered. It wasn't only about personal pride. It was about power. Offset no longer wanted to feel trapped by paperwork or dependent on someone else's structure. Interestingly, there was never a huge public showdown between them. No lawsuit, no dramatic courtroom battle. Just interviews, rumors, and different sides of the story. Wack remained outspoken and direct, often addressing issues publicly. Offset, on the other hand, moved more quietly. He focused on adjusting his contracts and building smarter partnerships behind closed doors. In hip-hop, not every fight is loud. Some battles happen in boardrooms. Some are handled through negotiations. Sometimes the strongest move is simply stepping away from a situation that no longer works for you. When you step back, this story isn't really about gossip or old arguments. It's about growth. Offset entered the industry young and eager. He signed quickly and trusted the system. Over time, he realized that making money isn't the same as controlling it. The biggest lesson isn't about who was right or wrong. It's about awareness. The moment an artist truly understands their contract is the moment they begin taking back their power.